أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. Lesson number 103, Surah At-Taubah, ayah number 16 to 28. أَمْ حَسِبْتُمْ أَن تُتْرَكُوا. Do you think that you will be left as you are? وَلَمَّا يَعْلَمِ اللَّهُ الَّذِينَ جَاهَدُوا مِنْكُمْ. While Allah has not yet made evident those among you who strive for His cause. وَلَمْ يَتَّخِذُوا مِن دُونِ اللَّهِ وَلَا رَسُولِهِ وَلَا الْمُؤْمِنِينَ وَلِيجًا. And they do not take other than Allah, His Messenger, and the believers as intimates. وَاللَّهُ خَبِيرٌ بِمَا تَعْمَلُونَ. And Allah is acquainted with everything that you do. The believers are being addressed over here. That أَمْ حَسِبْتُمْ. Do you think? Have you just assumed this? Have you just thought about this yourself? Why do you think like this? Meaning you should not think like this. Am hasibtum, and the word hasibtum is from the root letters ha, sin, ba. Hisban is to have an assumption or thought about something that one wishes in his heart to be true. You understand? He's not certain about it, but he wishes. He hopes in his heart that it will become true. So, am hasibtum? Do you just think and you want that you should never be tested, you should never be tried, that just you say that you're a believer and you should be accepted like that, and that you will not be put into a difficult situation that will show that you're really a believer? Am hasibtum an tutraku, that you will be left, meaning you will be left in the state that you are in right now, without any tests, without any trials, without any difficulties. وَلَمَّا, while not yet, يَعْلَمِ اللَّهُ, Allah knows. Meaning Allah has not yet known. Isn't it that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is alim and allamul ghuyub, and His knowledge is not limited to the past, present or the future? Yes. So what does it mean by this? وَلَمَّا يَعْلَمِ اللَّهُ. Meaning Allah has not yet made known. Because this ilm over here refers to ilm of zuhur, which is when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala makes evident what is already in His knowledge. Do you understand? When Allah makes evident what is already in His knowledge. Like for example, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows about the state of the heart of every single person. What is the level of his belief? How honest he is? How sincere he is? Allah knows already. But Allah exposes that. Allah shows that. Allah makes that evident. How? Through different situations. So, وَلَمَّا يَعْلَمِ اللَّهُ, Allah has not yet known, meaning He has not yet made known. He has not yet made evident. Who? Who has He not yet made evident? الَّذِينَ, those people who jahadu, those who strive in the cause of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So you think that just because you claim to be a believer, you will be left as is, and you will not be tested, you will not be checked, that how committed are you with your iman, how committed are you to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and how will that be known, whether your iman is really true or not, whether you are really of al-mu'minuna haqqa. How will that be known? That when a person does jihad in the way of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that shows his truthfulness, his sincerity. What is jihad? Jahadu is from the word jihad. And what does jihad mean? It's from the word juhud as well as jahad, which is to strive one's utmost, to put in one's utmost effort, to put in one's maximum ability to achieve something or to remove something. This is the literal meaning of the word jihad. And from this, jihad is used for the effort that a person puts in to serve the deen of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And remember, there isn't just one way of serving the deen of Allah. There are many ways. Many, many ways. Because each person has been given a different ability, a different skill. And لَا يُكَلِّفُ اللَّهُ نَفْسًا إِلَّا وُسْعَهَا. So each person is obligated with whatever that he is capable of doing. So, jihad is that a person puts in his maximum ability to serve the deen of Allah. For some, it could be by striving to learn. And striving to learn means putting in your maximum effort to learn not just one aspect of the deen, but learn one thing after the other. And not just learn whatever is offered to you, but struggle to learn, perhaps travel to learn, go to different places, spend your money, put in your time, put in your energy, spend hours and hours to study, keep revising, spend years to study. This is what? A form of jihad. A form of struggling in the way of Allah to serve the deen. This is what jihad is. Similarly, in other situations it would be defending the deen. For instance, when a person goes to battle. Now when a person goes to battle, that's not something easy. It's very difficult. Especially when you have to spend your own money. When you go, you will have to compromise on your family life, on your time that you'll be spending to make money. So there is a lot of effort that is involved. But why is a person doing that? To serve the deen of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So you think that you can just claim that you're a believer and that's it? And you don't need to do jihad? You don't need to serve the deen of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? You have to do that. Because when you will do that, that will show that you are of the sincere believers. وَلَمَّا يَعْلَمِ اللَّهُ الَّذِينَ جَاهَدُوا مِنْكُمْ. So the first condition is, the first test is of jihad. The second test is of love. And how is that mentioned over here? وَلَمْ يَتَّخِذُوا. And they have not taken, meaning these people have not taken, مِن دُونِ اللَّهِ, besides Allah, وَلَا رَسُولِهِ وَلَا الْمُؤْمِنِينَ. So they have not taken besides Allah, His Messenger, and the believers as walijatan, as intimates. Meaning their only intimate friends, close friends are who? Allah, His Messenger, and the true believers. So when a person passes the test of jihad, and when he passes this test of love, then it shows, then it is made evident that this person is a sincere believer. Now the question is, what is the word walija? The word walija is from the root letters waw, lam, jim. Walaja, yaliju. Tuliju al-layla fi an-nahar. What does it mean? Hatta yalija al-jamalu fi sammi al-khiyat. To go inside, right? Wuluj is to enter into a tight and narrow place. This is what the word wuluj is. To enter into a tight and narrow place, to penetrate. And from this, the word is also used for a cave in a mountain where people enter to be secure from rain or things like that. So just imagine people are traveling through mountains and all of a sudden it begins to rain. Where will you find shelter? Perhaps under a tree. If you cannot find a tree, maybe you find a hole in the mountain, you will enter that. Even if that hole is very small, even if that cave is very tiny. So, in order to go there, you have to enter into the mountain. You have to enter into the hole. This is what walija is. And from this, the word walija is used for such friendship that has entered the cave of your heart. That has entered your heart. You understand? That has taken room, that has taken space in your heart. Because some people we are friends with just on the surface. There's only hi, hello, and that's it. And there are other people with whom you share your secrets with, or you share your thoughts with, you share your feelings with, you take their advice. You think about them. They share their matters with you, you share your affairs with them. So there is a deep connection with them. It is such friendship that has settled in the heart, that has taken room in the heart. According to Imam Qurtubi, he said, walijatul rajuli, the walija of a person, is man yakhtassa bidakhalati amrihi dun al-nas. That a person whom he trusts with regards to his personal affairs. And he only shares those matters with him. He is special, a special person, a special friend. You understand? And at that level, nobody else is there. You only share your secrets with who? Your best friend. Isn't it so? You don't go out talking to random people whom you just sit in the class with and you just tell them about everything you go through. No. Your special friends who are at a certain level, you share those matters with them. And it's possible that they're not at the level of your friend, in the sense that you don't go eat out with them, you don't, go shop with them, but it's someone whom you trust. When it comes to taking advice, you ask them for advice. When it comes to sharing your feelings, you share your feelings with them. Do you understand? Sometimes it could be a person who is higher than you in level. Perhaps it could be someone's boss, someone's parent, someone's teacher. Different levels, right? Different people. So walija is a special friend with whom one shares his secret affairs with, private matters with, and he takes him as a confidant. Meaning they have not taken besides Allah, His Messenger, and the believers any walija. Do you understand? Who are their walija then? Who are their advisors? Their counselors? Whose advice do they seek? Allah, His Messenger, and the believers. Wallahu khabirun bima ta'malun. And Allah is fully aware of whatever that you do. As I mentioned to you, the address over here is to the believers. But which believers in particular? Those believers who had not yet completely become free of their pre-Islamic bonds of friendship as well as relationships with other people. And the announcement of Bara'ah became a great test for them. As we learned earlier at the beginning of the surah, that there was a declaration of disassociation from who? From the mushrikeen. And in that declaration was the fact that no mushrik would be allowed to live here anymore. And after 4 months, that's it. No mushrik can stay over here. He must leave if he wishes to remain as a mushrik. Now, keeping the Arab society in mind, the people who had become Muslim, they were not outsiders. They were the people of the same society. They were people of Mecca, they were people of Medina, all over Arabia. So from one household, 3 people became Muslim, 2 people remained as mushrik. Just imagine. You know, sometimes you hear of a person who has become Muslim. You hear, okay, their mother also became Muslim. Or their brother also became Muslim. However, the parents are still non-Muslim. Or the children are still non-Muslim. Or the rest of the siblings are still non-Muslim. Now just imagine this is not the case of one family. This is not the case of 2 families, but the entire society. Entire society. From the same household, from the same family, there are some people who are Muslim and some who are non-Muslim. So, for some people, it was extremely difficult to accept that we cannot have any bonds of friendship or relationships with them anymore, in the sense that we have to give preference to Allah and His Messenger above them. Now, for those Muslims who had accepted Islam at the beginning, and they had done hijrah from Mecca to Medina, or those Ansar who had welcomed the Prophet ﷺ in Medina, or they had participated in battle with the Prophet ﷺ, it was easy for them, or it had become easier for them at least. However, at the conquest of Mecca, many people became Muslim. And for them to accept this, that after 4 months, our mushrik family members are gone from here, this was extremely difficult for them. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is asking that, do you think you will not be tested? Do you think you will not be tested? Do you think you can just say that you're a believer and that's it? What is really going to show the truthfulness of your iman? The fact that you're striving in the way of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and the fact that you will only give preference to Allah, His Messenger, and the believers. And even your relatives, even your relationships, your friendships will not come in the way of Allah and His Messenger. If you think of it, leaving your money, leaving your house, leaving your city is easy. It is easy. People do that even for the sake of dunya, when they migrate from one country to another. However, when it comes to leaving your family, when it comes to leaving your own brothers and sisters, then it becomes a challenge. A big challenge. It becomes extremely difficult. And we're not talking about the society that is today, in which sometimes people don't even care about their own family members. We're talking about the Arab society, where people were together as families. That even if they differed with one another, they would still remain united. They would still stay united. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is asking that, you think, you will not be tested? You have to prove your iman. In Surah Ali Imran, ayah number 179, we learn, مَا كَانَ اللَّهُ لِيَذَرَ الْمُؤْمِنِينَ عَلَى مَا أَنْتُمْ عَلَيْهِ حَتَّى يَمِيزَ الْخَبِيثَ مِنَ الطَّيِّبِ. Allah will not leave the believers in the state in which you are in right now. Meaning Allah will not let the sincere believers stay mingled with the rest of people who are not sincere in their iman. until He distinguishes the wicked from the good. He will distinguish who is honest and who is not honest, who is more committed and who is not that committed. Who is it that really loves Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? Because everyone claims that they love Allah. Everyone. Every Muslim claims that he loves Allah, even if he doesn't pray salah. You know, when you ask people, which person is it that you really look up to, they will say Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. But when it comes to following his sunnah, no. But they will claim that they love Allah and the Messenger. So everybody claims. But what is it that proves that love? It's two things. First of all, jihad. And secondly, taking Allah, the Messenger, and the believers as walijah only. In Surah Al-Ankabut, ayah number 1, we learn, أَحَسِبَ النَّاسُ أَن يُتْرَكُوا أَن يَقُولُوا آمَنَّا وَهُمْ لَا يُفْتَنُونَ. Do the people think that they will be left to say, we believe, and they will not be tested? They think they will not be tried? Allah will definitely try them. Sometimes these trials come in the form of difficult situations, in the form of persecution from other people. Isn't it so? Like for example, the people of Makkah, the Muslims of Makkah, they went through the difficulty of persecution. Correct? Sometimes these difficulties come through, difficult situations that a person is in his life. For example, loss of money, loss of a friend, loss of health. All of these are what? Difficult trials and situations. And sometimes trials come, tests come through the commands that Allah gives. Through the commands that Allah gives. That for one person, perhaps wearing their hijab is like doing the impossible. It's extremely difficult. Extremely difficult. You may wonder why, what's the big deal? It is difficult for some people. For some people, praying the salah, extremely difficult. For some people, giving priority to the deen, learning the Quran, serving the deen, giving preference to the deen above their own careers. It is difficult. However, only when a person does that, then it shows the truthfulness, the sincerity of his belief. And now if you look at it, 2 tests are mentioned over here. What are they? First of all, jihad. And secondly, taking only Allah, the Messenger, and believers as close friends. Now if you look at it, jihad is a criteria for true iman. Why? Why is jihad a criteria for true iman? Think about it. Why jihad? Isn't it enough to just say that, yes, I am a believer, I am praying my salah, I am fulfilling all of my obligations, I'm a good, righteous Muslim, and that's enough. Why do I have to go the extra mile and do jihad and serve the deen? Why? That when a person strives to serve the deen, then he has to leave his comfort zone. Isn't it so? He has to leave sometimes what he likes, what he finds pleasure in, what he enjoys doing. And he has to go the extra mile. And the thing is, your actions, what do they prove? What is in the heart. The zahir, it proves what is in the batin. So if on the zahir you are serving the deen, that shows that in your heart you really love the deen. If you just claim that you love the deen, and in your actions you're not serving the deen, then what kind of love is that? It's not true love. It's not sincere love. So 2 tests are mentioned over here. Jihad and taking Allah, His Messenger, and believers as intimates. And when a person passes these 2 tests, that shows that he is a true believer. That shows that he is an honest believer. Otherwise, people can claim whatever they want, but their claims may be useless. Their claims may be meaningless if they don't show it through their actions. مَا كَانَ لِلْمُشْرِكِينَ. It is not for the mushrikeen. Meaning it is not suitable. It is not permissible. It is not appropriate for the mushrikeen. What? أَن يَعْمُرُوا مَسَاجِدَ اللَّهِ. That they should maintain the mosques of Allah. That they should maintain the worship places. It is not suitable for the mushrikeen. When the declaration of Bara'ah was made, what did that announce? What did that make clear? That after this year, mushrikeen are not going to be here anymore. They're not coming for Hajj. They're not performing the tawaf. After 4 months, they're not going to be in the Arabian Peninsula either. And if they leave the Arab Peninsula, they cannot come visit at the time of Hajj either. You can only come here as a Muslim. So, For some people, it was difficult to accept that. Why? Because it was their own relatives who were still mushrik. Which is why the previous ayah mentioned that you think your iman will be accepted as it is. You have to show that you really love Allah more than the mushrikeen. And how will you show that? By implementing the commands of Allah, by accepting them. And over here, the reason is being given that why should the mushrikeen not be allowed to come and worship at the house of Allah? Why? Because some people may wonder that, okay, fine, even if they're not living over there, they should be at least allowed to come and, worship. So why not? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, مَا كَانَ, it is not suitable. It does not suit them. It is not appropriate for them. It is not permissible for them. They have no right. Who? The mushrikeen. That they should populate, that they should maintain the masajid of Allah. The word ya'muru is from the root letters Ain, Mim, Ra. Imara. Imara is to fill something with life. To populate. To populate something. To populate a place. For example, if there's a building and there are people living over there, you say that there's so much life. Right? Whereas another house that is desolate, nobody's living over there, what do you say? It's dead. There's no life over there. So imara is to fill something with life, to populate it. And it's the opposite of kharab. We learned earlier in Surah Al-Baqarah, وَمَنْ أَظْلَمُ مِمَّنْ مَنَعَ مَسَاجِدَ اللَّهِ أَنْ يُذْكَرَ فِيهَا اسْمُهُ وَسَعَى فِي خَرَابِهَا. And he strove for what? The kharab of the masajid. What does kharab mean? When a building or when a crop is laying waste, desolate, no one is there to take care of it. No one is there to maintain it, to look after it. Just imagine a house that is built. A house that has been set up. And nobody is there to take care of it. Nobody is there to live over there. What's going to happen after some time? What's going to happen? Eventually it's going to be destroyed. It's just laying waste. Sometimes it happens that, for example, if in a particular community there is a factory or a nuclear plant or something like that, and if there is an explosive or something, or there's a high risk, then they have to evacuate immediately. And sometimes people leave even their belongings. And there have been times where people have gone back to those places and seen, and if you've ever seen video clips of such places, they're just lying desolate. Sometimes, the ceilings have broken down and trees are growing out of the house, the windows are broken. This is what? When a place is lying desolate, when nobody's there to maintain it. And imara is when a place is alive, when people are living over there, when people are populating the place, they're taking care of the place. And imara is of two types. First of all, imara is tangible. What does it mean by that? It is in the physical sense. Populate a place. How? First of all, it includes constructing, building the place. And over here in particular, يَعْمُرُ مَسَاجِدَ اللَّهِ. Masajid are mentioned. So imara of masjid is building a masjid. And then not just building it, but beautifying it as well, adorning it. In the sense that you don't just have, 4 walls and a roof, but you have some paint on the walls, you have a nice carpet on the floor, you have some nice lights. Doesn't mean you have to have decorations all over, but it should look nice, right? So adorning the place as well. Similarly, not just adorning, but protecting, looking after it. Looking after it. Like, for example, there is a security alarm, or there are people who stay in the masjid to make sure that nobody comes and destroys the masjid. Nobody comes and misuses the place. So protecting the place, looking after the place. Similarly, cleaning the masjid. This is also what? In taking care. A part of taking care of the masjid, cleaning it. Because if it's not clean, if it's not well maintained, then how will people be able to worship over there? They won't be able to. Fulfilling all of its needs, the needs of the masjid. For instance, the place is cleaned or the supplies are brought. And physical imara also means that people are present for worship. That if you have a very nice masjid, it smells beautiful, it's clean, spick and span, it's up to date, everything is nice. But at the time of salah, only the imam is there, or only 2-3 people are there. Is that place populated? It's not populated. So first of all, imara is tangible. Second is intangible. What does it mean by that? That along with everything else, people also worship over there. It's not just about attending the gatherings over there so that you have a huge number of people. You understand? Like for example, every day, 50 people come. Or for example, in the month of Ramadan, the masjid is full. Okay, the masjid is full. But how many people are actually praying? Are they doing ibadah or are they just sitting and having iftar and then they leave? So, intangible is that people come there for ibadah. Ibadah is established. Do you understand? Not that at the time of salah, there is no one to give the adhan. Do you understand? Or that at the time of salah, there is no one to pray. Or salah is delayed and then it is prayed. Do you understand? Like for example, Fajr is supposed to be at a particular time. And when do they pray Fajr? Right when it's about to come to an end. Like 2 minutes before. This is not properly populating the masjid. This is not properly looking after the masjid. Similarly, in the intangible imara of the masjid, it includes that there should be the spirit of deen as well. That when people come, they don't just come to play basketball. They don't just come to rent the hall over there for their weddings. But they come there, they get some benefit, they increase in their guidance, they increase in their love for Allah. They learn something from there as well. So masjid is not just a place where people come just to have their social gatherings, just to offer their fard salah and that's it. But there should be more to that. That people increase in their iman. They are benefited in their deen when they visit the masjid. Not that when they go to the masjid, the only thing that they're told is give donation and then leave. No. This is what imara of the masjid is, that there is spirit of the deen. People learn, people benefit. There is hidayah, there is ilm, there is unity. The people who are working over there, they're united. Not that they're always bickering, they're always fighting, always arguing for higher positions. So imara is both tangible as well as intangible. There's a hadith, Prophet ﷺ said, there will come a time for my people when masajiduha amiratun wahiya kharabun min al-huda. Masajiduha, their masajid would be amira. They would be very well populated. They'll be full of people. Many people will be coming. However, the masajid will be kharabun min al-huda. But they will be empty of right guidance. There will be no right guidance in the masjid. People will come, they will not increase in their iman. They will not increase in their right behavior. Masjid will not be a source of guiding people. You understand? So over here it is said that it is not permissible for the mushrikeen that they should be the maintainers of the masjid. That they should be the ones who are looking after the masjid. In both the tangible sense as well as the intangible sense. They have no right to visit the masjid, to practice their rituals over there, to sit in the haram, to perform their polytheistic practices, or even maintain the Kaaba, take care of the Kaaba. It is not their right to do that. And over here, Masajid Allah has been mentioned, and which masjid is this referring to in the context? Masjid al-Haram. And from this, it is generalized because the plural word has been used, masajid, that if they are not allowed to look after and visit and worship at the Masjid al-Haram, then the same applies to all other masajid as well. So it is not permissible for them to do that. Why? Why not? Because shahidina, while they are witnesses to what? Ala anfusihim, against themselves, over bil kufri, with the disbelief. While they themselves witness to kufr against themselves. Meaning they themselves are performing actions of kufr. The masjid of Allah is built for what? The worship of Allah. So if a person comes over there and does kufr, should he be allowed to come there? No, because he's not fulfilling the objective, the reason as to why that masjid was constructed. The Baytullah was constructed why? For the worship of Allah. Ibrahim a.s. built the Kaaba. Why? So that people would worship Allah alone. So if these mushrikeen are coming over there and doing kufr, then they should not be allowed to come there. Shahideen. Shahideen is a plural of shahid. And who is shahid? one who bears witness to something. So they're not worthy of maintaining the Kaaba, while at the same time they profess, they practice polytheism. And shirk is kufr. So al-kufr over here refers to shirk, as well as kufr of who? The Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Do you understand? While they themselves are doing kufr. What kufr is this? First of all, shirk. And secondly, denial of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Now the question is, how were they witnesses against themselves over the kufr that they were doing? How? That their actions, their rituals, they demonstrate kufr. They show kufr. Especially the actions that they performed at the Baytullah. For instance, when they would perform the tawaf, or in the hajj, they would pronounce the talbiyah. Right? Like for example, when we also go for hajj, we say, labbaik Allahumma labbaik, labbaik la sharika laka labbaik. Right? So they would also pronounce this talbiyah. And what would they say? That labbaik la sharika laka illa sharikan huwa laka tamlikuhu wa ma malak. That here I am at your service, O Lord. There is no associate with you. You have no partner. Except for one partner that you have. And you have mastery over it, but he does not possess any mastery over you. You understand? So, in their rituals, they would pronounce the talbiyah, and which had clear words of shirk, words of kufr. Shahidina ala anfusihim bil kufr. Similarly, when they would do tawaf, how would they do it? Without any clothes. Clapping and whistling. And that is a place where a person should go before Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in humility. Ud'u rabbakum tadarru'an. And when a person is walking around without any clothes, clapping and whistling, does that show tadarru'? It doesn't show tadarru' at all. Similarly, they had placed approximately 360 idols in and around the Kaaba. How many? 360. And the inner wall of the Kaaba, they had drawn over there portraits, images of idols of their saints, and it is also said that they had made idols of Ibrahim and Ismail alayhi salam. They had built them and they had placed them inside the Kaaba. And these idols, they were holding divining arrows. So all of this is kufr. How can they come and populate the masjid? How can they be given the charge of maintaining the masjid while they are committing kufr? Whereas the masjid of Allah is built for the worship of Allah only. Similarly, they denied the Messenger ﷺ, and all of their actions went against the teachings of Islam. So if this is their character, if this is their behavior, if this is their way of life, they don't deserve to be the maintainers of the masjid of Allah. Who deserves to be the maintainer of the masjid? Those people who believe in Allah, who worship Allah alone, those people who love Allah. So, shahidina ala anfusihim bil kufr. Ulaika, those, meaning the mushrikeen, those people who are bearing witness to their own kufr by their own actions, they are habitat a'maluhum. All of their deeds are wasted. Why? Because they're doing all of these deeds based on what? Shirk. And with shirk, none of a person's deeds are acceptable. حَبِطَتْ أَعْمَالُهُمْ. All of their deeds are wasted. وَفِي النَّارِ هُمْ خَالِدُونَ. And in the hellfire, they'll be abiding eternally. So how can you give the right of entry, of worship in Kaaba, in the Haram, to these mushrikeen? When in the hereafter, they're utter losers. Because they're mushrikeen, all of their deeds are wasted. How can you let them come and take over the Kaaba? How can you give them the charge? You cannot. This masjid has been built for the worship of Allah. And it is your duty that you must establish that over here. And if anyone is going against that, you cannot let them come here. Only those people who worship Allah should be allowed to come here. Because Allah is the one who created this entire earth. Allah is the one who created all of these people. Why? So that Allah is worshipped. Shouldn't there be one place on the surface of the earth where only Allah is worshipped? Isn't it His right? Tell me, isn't it his right? It is his right. Like for example, if there is a person who builds a house, who buys a house, for example the man, and the wife says, I want to design everything myself, I want to do everything myself. He says, look, I paid for it, let me choose one thing. Let me select one thing. Just let me have control over one part of the house. Isn't it justified? Isn't it fair? It's 100% fair. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala Jalla Jalaluhu, He is the one who created the heavens and the earth. He is the one who created all people for His worship. And here is one masjid where Allah wants that only He should be worshipped. And we're like, why? Why? That's not justified at all. This is not justice. We fight for the rights of people. We fight for the rights of animals. We fight for the rights of the environment. What about the rights of Allah? So we see that the mushrikeen, their deeds will not be accepted. Why? Because, first of all, whatever they are doing, even if it's rituals, even if it's visiting the Kaaba, even if it's looking after the Kaaba, all of that is being done along with shirk. And any action that is done with shirk is useless. It is wasted. In Surah Al-An'am, ayah 88, we learn, وَلَوْ أَشْرَكُوا, all of the prophets are mentioned, and then it is said that وَلَوْ أَشْرَكُوا لَحَبِطَ عَنْهُمْ مَا كَانُوا يَعْمَلُونَ. If they did shirk, all of their deeds would be wasted. Wasted. Similarly in Surah Al-Zumar, ayah number 65, it is mentioned, وَلَقَدْ أُوحِيَ إِلَيْكَ وَإِلَى الَّذِينَ مِنْ قَبْلِكَ لَإِنْ أَشْرَكْتَ لَيَحْبَطَنَّ عَمَلُكَ وَلَتَكُونَنَّ مِنَ الْخَاسِرِينَ. And it was already revealed to you and to those before you that if you should associate anything with Allah, then all of your work would become worthless. And you would be surely among the losers. So first of all, their deeds are wasted. Why? Because all of this they're doing with shirk. And secondly, they were maintaining the Kaaba, looking after the Kaaba, populating the Kaaba. Why? Because it was a means of gaining a lot of honor. It was a status symbol in that society. Because whoever looked after the Kaaba, whoever maintained the Kaaba, whoever offered water to the pilgrims, he was considered to be very righteous. Very righteous. And the Quraysh were the ones who would do that. The people of Makkah especially, they would do that. And all of the tribes of Arabia, they would really respect them. For serving the Kaaba, for taking care of the Kaaba, for looking after the idols as well who were in the Kaaba. They would appreciate for that. So they were doing this maintenance of the Kaaba for the sake of Allah? No. It was for the sake of earning dunya. It was a means of making more money, gaining more fame, gaining the praise of people in the dunya. And generally people, what kind of actions do they like? Those that are visible. Those that can be seen by people. So this was an action that was seen by all people. All people, all over Arabia. People acknowledged this fact. And they were very impressed by that. And generally, the actions that are behind the scenes, people avoid them. Why? Because they're not seen. Right? They're behind the scenes. They're not seen by anyone. The mushrikeen, they would look after the Kaaba, everybody would see it. That's why they would love to do it. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says they have no right because they're not even doing it for the sake of Allah. They're doing it to make money, to earn more dunya. Because when they would impress people like this, people would bring them a lot of gifts. People would bring them money. This was a source of business for them. This was a source of making a lot of money for them. So they used the masjid to earn dunya. So what does Allah say? They don't deserve to do that.